Thanks for joining today's snapshot for July 24th. The weather report's getting better and better, so I'm quite sure we will have that outdoor service at Dr. Martin Luther Church at 10 o'clock. You can check the announcement on the church's voicemail if you have any question. Well, I keep wondering how we will respond to the COVID crisis, not this year, but next year. It's terrible this year, of course. 146,000 deaths, so many unemployed, questions around education, a disappointment for school children who couldn't end their last year in an appropriate way. But what's going to happen in the coming year? Well, I went back and looked at the Spanish flu information from 1918, 102 years ago. 50 million people died worldwide, 675,000 in the United States. And then I looked at the information from 1919, the next year after the Spanish flu pandemic. What does it list? 14% of people had bathtubs, trivial information. 8% had phones. 90% of doctors didn't have a college degree. Women wash their hair once a month with egg yolks or borax. A fifth of the people couldn't read. Way down at the bottom of significant events in 1919, they list causes of death. The flu, a remnant from 1918, TB, and diarrhea. Clearly, people moved on and recovered fairly quickly from the Spanish flu. Then I looked at the next year. What were world-shaping events 100 years ago in 1920? The formation of the League of Nations. The fact that Edith Wilson was the de facto president because Woodrow Wilson had had a blood clot. There were 2 constitutional amendments in the same year. Women got the right to vote, and prohibition was instituted, which only increased the arrests for drunkenness by 41% and for DUIs by 82%. Another event of 1920 was that Charles Ponzi started his famous scheme. No mention of the Spanish flu. Well, how do we recover and defeat the COVID crisis in the coming year? I think it's by pulling together. And I think we need to look at another date, December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. What happened on December 8th? Thousands of people across the United States enlisted in the war effort to defeat those who would cause world conflagration, defeating the Japanese after their attack on Pearl Harbor, and of course the Nazis in Germany. I think it's going to take the same kind of effort where we pull together as a country for the national good and welfare. I think there's a wonderful hymn that is appropriate, one written by the romantic poet of New England, the abolitionist James Russell Lowell. Once to every man and nation comes the moment to decide, in the strife of truth with falsehood, for the good or evil side. Some great cause, God's new Messiah, offering each the bloom or blight, and the choice goes by forever twixt that darkness and that light. God bless you today. Thanks for joining the snapshot.